right, folks. Thanks for checking out the video. I want to talk today about President Donald Trump's address to the nation tonight, March 4th, 2025. Now, technically, this was an address to a joint session of Congress, but it very much acted similarly to a State of the Union. Now, my initial thoughts are it's nice to have a president that can actually speak clearly, speak loudly, and get through a speech without looking like he's going to fall over, unlike the previous president. Okay. Now, substantively, I thought he did great. I thought the speech was on point. It was a little over an hour and a half, but it flowed well. It kept moving. It went from one point to the next without really any major lulls or anything really. Now Donald Trump really continues to trigger the left, right? I mean, they've thrown everything that they possibly could at this guy for the better part of the last 10 years, and he's still standing. He's still jabbing them, okay, which they thought he would long be out of the picture by now, but here he is, okay? Now, one thing that really got under their skin was when he mentioned that he had a mandate, okay? The election wasn't even close, okay? Now, a lot of the pundits leading up to this last election were saying, oh, it's 50-50. Kamala Harris, she has a really good chance to win, when that was never the case, okay? Donald Trump was always going to win this election, okay? All 50 states moved right from the 2020 election to 2024, okay? Donald Trump won all of the swing states. Virtually every group moved right, particularly younger people and non-white people, people that are typically part of the Democrat base. Now, I'll get to that a little later, but basically he straight up said, nothing I say is going to get these people, referring to the Democrats, to stand up and applaud or give me any kind of praise. Okay. He did hit on some substantive points, mentioning how the Democrats are willing to die on the hill of allowing men to play in women's sports. Okay. Now that's a 80-20 issue. Okay. And Democrats are on the 20 side that wants to see men in women's sports. Okay. The rest of us ain't got time for that. All right. Now, you had one notable thing that happened pretty early on in the speech was you have this Congressman, Al Green from Texas, who kept going on about something, and eventually they had to remove him from it. It was cringe. It was embarrassing. The Democrats like to refer to themselves as the adults in the room, but they just looked unhinged, unserious, and increasingly irrelevant. Okay. You had some members of Congress in there on the Democrat side holding these silly little signs with these slogans on them. And it's just like, man, that's just cringe. Okay. That's something you would expect to see in a high school government, not the government of the most powerful nation in the world. Okay. So that was just weak. Okay. You also had some members of Congress, again on the Democrat side, just get up and leave. Okay. They just didn't want to be there, which, I mean, they don't have to be there, right? So get on and go. I felt that Donald Trump hit on a lot of important points. He clearly explained to people the whole situation with the tariffs, how for so many years the United States has had to pay much higher tariffs to export our goods to countries than their goods are being tariffed coming into the country. So he's just leveling the playing field. And the way you would believe it from a lot of the mainstream media is that, oh, Donald Trump starting this trade war when he's just leveling the playing field. And for the first time in a long time, particularly as it pertains to Canada, there's actually going to be a level playing field. I mean, we've essentially been subsidizing Canada for a long time, okay, a long time, and they're going to blink, okay, because they have a whole hell of a lot more to lose with a so-called trade war than we do here in the United States. Now, the Democrats, as I said before, every group moved right from 2020 to 2024, and the Democrats with their stupid little hijinks and interrupting and throwing a fuss, well, their favorability rating is circling the drain. Okay, in fact, according to Quinnipiac, and again, this is just the best information that we have. Quinnipiac had them at 31% favorable, 57% unfavorable. Okay, not good, not good. And CNN had them at 33% favorable, which is their worst rating since 1992. Okay, long time ago. All right. Now, if we look at voter registration trends, we see that in virtually every state, Democrats are losing registrations and Republicans are increasing. And that trend has only accelerated since the election. So if Donald Trump won in November, he would absolutely win again in another election. Okay. So the future looks bright for people that aren't Democrats. Okay. Now, not speaking about politics, there were some interesting moments during the speech that really should have unified the House and the Senate, both sides, right? You had Donald Trump doing a tribute to Corey Compertor, who was unfortunately killed when Donald Trump himself was shot at the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, back in July of 2024. Democrats didn't stand for that. They didn't applaud for that. With the guy's wife and his daughters there, it was a great moment. Okay, the fact that they're there, they're supporting Donald Trump, and it wasn't even necessarily a partisan thing, just to support the family of a guy who was unnecessarily killed. Okay, you had several families there of people who were killed by illegal aliens, including a young college girl from Georgia, Laken Riley, and a girl that wasn't even a teenager who I believe was 12 years old, Jocelyn Noongari from Houston, Texas, who was brutalized and murdered by two Venezuelan gang members, okay, led into the country and released under the Biden administration. Okay, well, Democrats don't want you talking about that. Okay, you had a little boy also from Texas who has been battling brain cancer throughout his life and wasn't really given more than a 10% chance of surviving. And he was at the speech. He was actually made an honorary Secret Service agent. Okay, in a real touching moment, he actually hugged Sean Curran, who's the current director of the Secret Service. So again, as Donald Trump said, nothing he could say or do was going to get those Democrats off their asses and actually applaud. Okay, even a kid surviving cancer, even family members of people who were brutally murdered. Democrats don't give a damn about that. They don't give a damn about me, and they sure as hell don't give a damn about you or anybody else in this country. So if you haven't seen the speech, I recommend watching it or at least watch some of the clips of it. So in any case, that's what I think. Let me know what you all think. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.